Hi everyone, welcome back to another gameplay of Infinitode 2. So I'm very happy to announce, guys, that the 1.9 update is finally live. It's a major update with a lot of changes, new features, and the ending of Season 2 and the start of Season 3. And yeah, I'm here with the game. I'm gonna cover in this video and also in the next one the main changes that have been implemented. There are so many things happening that I have decided to split the video into. So in this first part, I'm gonna cover the features, about the gameplay, the levels, the research, all that stuff. And then instead, on the second part, I'm gonna be talking about the towers and the balances, specifically on the different towers. So once again, a big thank you to Rainy, which is the main developer of the game, for all the work, all the energy that has been putting into this awesome game, despite all the difficulties that he's facing for the war, for the country that he's living in. But yeah, big thank you to him and also to all the players that have been playing on the beta, testing out 1.9, suggesting different things to be implemented, reporting bugs, and just making the overall game as it stands right now. I'm very sure that there will be minor updates coming out with some tweaks, some new things that will be adjusted. But yeah, this is the 1.9 update, and I hope you're ready. I recommend you to actually go to the blog and to read for yourself every single one of these implementations, because I'm not gonna be going through everything. You have also kind of a summary of all the like changes right here, but of course this is not gonna give you that much information. And yeah, this should be the blog right here, right? You should be able to see it. And yeah, here we go. So now I'm gonna just cover the most important things, right? So I'm not gonna be covering everything, but the things that I think are very important to mention, or the ones that are gonna give you some thoughts. I have been testing it, like trying a little bit the game, but not really that much. So I'm gonna just give you my impressions about it, and then in the next videos I'm gonna try to cover more stuff of the game, of the dates, just testing out different things. Maybe I can give you more insight. And the first thing is that now there is tower specific free research for every tower, and every tower is gonna have these 6 researches that can be unlocked simply by using the tower. So you're gonna just need to kill different amount of enemies, right? And then you're gonna unlock all the levels by themselves. You're gonna need to spend the research or spend resources there. And again, at the beginning, you're gonna have some stats like damage, attack speed, like stuff like the special stats, power per level. And then at the very last one is gonna be something used for farming. So you're gonna be gaining green peppers, you're gonna be gaining bidders, and you're gonna be gaining bonus prestige tickets or dust. So yeah, it's very nice. Then another thing, just I'm not gonna cover everything as I said before, just some tweaks so that we have more information about the towers. We can now mine more items. And now something worth mentioning is the miners. Now miners have been kind of reworked. Now they're gonna have a single mining speed, so not anymore different speeds depending on the resource that you're farming, but now it's just one single one. And therefore it means that an Ether miner, which is the most advanced one, can now mine both Scalar and Ether at the same speed. And this is how the miner looks like. You're gonna have at the left the base speed, and remember this is because of the research and the level of the miner. Then this is where modifiers are applied. So in this case is mining speed modifiers, depending on how many you have, the bonuses. Then right here is the double time, so it depends on how much time you have saved by calling the next waves early. This increases the speed, it doubles the speed of the miners. And therefore then at the end, at the right side, you have the final speed of the miner, combining everything together. And as I said before, this is going to be exactly the same speed for every resource. So if you're farming a source tile that has scalar, vector, matrix, tensor, and infer, with an infer miner, you're going to be getting roughly like 20% of each time. So it's going to be exactly the same split, right? You're not going to have any more these kind of differences between them. And yeah, that's just it. Now there are some new things added to the menu. So for example, some informations about the gems, like in level 6.1 or 6.2. Some informations about certain towers, like the passives, some hints, stuff like that. There is a new level, 6.6, and in this level also there is a new bonus system which has been implemented. also on the daily maps, so on the daily quests. And in this case, you can choose between 40 different powerful bonuses during the game. So I think it's gonna be working. I haven't tested it yet, but I think it's gonna work like a threshold. So for example, you reach wave 10 or 15, and that's when you get the first bonuses, and you can choose from the first bonuses. Then you reach like wave 20 or 30, then you unlock the second one, and so forth. So the more you play, the more bonuses you unlock. Or maybe when you reach a certain amount of resources mined or a certain amount of enemies killed, that's when you're gonna have the bonuses. I don't know how it works, but the fact is that we're gonna be able to choose between these three bonuses, and yeah, the fact is that this can add new gameplay mechanics, of course. Now the bonus system is deterministic. That means that it's always going to be the same for every player, for every time that they play. It's always going to be the same 3 from where they can choose from. So in this case, the leaderboards are fair, so it's not just chance, but it's going to be fair. Some changes here to the lucky wheel. Now we can have even research that can increase the ×2 segment for the wheel. And also, it hasn't been set here, but there is now a timer. So when you reload the game, you have to wait 1 minute until you can play on the lucky wheel. And this is to not allow players anymore to manipulate that much the wheel by trying to get tons of research tickets. So yeah, that's sad, but at the same time it had to be expected. Some changes here to the map editor, some things that are gonna allow you to go back if you messed up, or to just select tiles much more easily. So yeah, that's just it. Now this is also something very, very interesting that I've seen, is that now on cast maps, enemies will always reach your base. It doesn't matter if there are tiles, platforms, or something that they have to walk through. Now they always reach the base. And of course, these enemies are always gonna prioritize using tiles, using platforms, or walking on top of like towers or modifiers to reach the base. But now it's not needed. So that means that now we can have crazy cast maps where enemies can move through the void, so can move through anything. And again, this can just make us have creativity in creating new cast maps, new concepts, new strategies. So yeah, it's gonna be cool to try it out. And also this very, very cool, the fact that now we can manually disable a tower by clicking on this button right here when you click on the tower. Now this might seem like something that is not needed or something that you might never want to use, but in reality it's something that it might be cool, so that you can time, I don't know, a certain ability, you can time a certain tower where it's gonna proc the slow or the stun, and so I think it might be interesting to test it out. All these are changes to the local save files, so stuff like that. There are more bonuses now on regular levels, so there will be different things that can be multiplied. You can gain more of those. Bosses now have more HP and move slower, right? So that's another thing. Now also another stuff is that the first reset on quest is gonna only require 20% rather than 25%. And there are also more prestige tickets given for a certain quest. So that's something interesting. And this is gonna mean that we're gonna need less time, like farming quests, to reset twice to complete and to unlock all the prestige tree. There's also this small inventory on the research screen. It's just gonna have like overall inside of all your resources, all the things that you have, all the items. And also you can click and you can see on each one of them which items you still need for a certain research. So for a full research tree, or the amount of research quality required in that particular item. And again, with different colors, different dots, so you can know what is missing where. And that's pretty much it. There are more daily map rewards, so the daily quests. Now there is also an item market in the shop, which is gonna like have a 1 hour in-game time. And these offers, they're gonna cost different things. They're gonna give you different things depending on your progression. And yeah, there are no more the chests, right? But now there are this item market that you can use, so which is just something different. This is very nice for quality of life. Now, as you click on a research, you open a research. If you click enter, you press enter, you automatically research that particular research. So yeah, it's just nice. And also this is very, very cool. The fact that now we can open up to 200 packs and chests at once, rather than having to open only 50, and we can open up to 200. So again, just more quickly, especially on the late game, you know, being able to open all these things much faster. And now here we come to the changes on bit dust. Now, bit dust drop rate increases according to the difficulty of endless mode, as it was before, but now it's even more, because it says here that up to 6 times more bit dust per run. And also bit dust drop rate research has become twice as powerful and no longer costs bit dust. So to upgrade it, you're not gonna need any more bit dust. You can just, and I'm pretty sure that's gonna be requiring like other resources. And also the total is gonna be 1000, as you can see right here. So it's not, again, like 50 as it was before, but now it's gonna be, sorry, 500, but now it's gonna be 1000. So considering this, with this, there is a lot more bit dust that is being given, but I'm pretty sure that the way in which bit dust is dropped, like it might have changed slightly. So for example, 6.3, I've already had some players have told me that 6.3 is kind of like doesn't work anymore as good as it was in the past. Now both the AFK strategy and the short run strategy are kind of worse, farming both for items, for loot, or for bit dust. So despite these changes, I think that they have nerfed the 6.3, you know, strategy. It was the most abused, you know, level to just farm, to just finish endless as quickly as possible. And then some other stuff here just for leaderboards, but nothing really worth mentioning. The cake trophy, so the master trophy, the one you get when you complete all the quests, now gives different stats. It's gonna give like 10% more prestige ticket drop rate, 10% more bit dust, and 1 more quest. So you can quest slot, right? So you can complete quests more quickly. And other than that, I think there is nothing worth mentioning. There is a new sleeping debuff here, says. It's going to reduce enemy speed by 30% and stack with other debuffs, and this is applied by Blizzard. So now Blizzard, other than freezing enemies for a certain amount of time, is also going to apply this kind of ice on the road. It's going to slow enemies and can stack. So that's just it. And some other things, but as I said before, you can check everything by yourself if you want to. I'm going to just cover the most important things here. And yeah, here we go. That's another very important thing. There is a new ability called Loop. And this ability is gonna, like, it has a description. I'm gonna actually go in game so I can check it out with you guys, because I think that in game it's much. Wait, first I need to unlock it. I think I haven't unlocked it yet. So this is Loop right away. So here it says affects selected tower or miner and 4 of its neighboring buildings in a plus pattern. Next, 700% times maximum DPS damage of affected towers will be doubled, and miners will mine double the resources, but no more than 25% of the amount already mined. So you can see that this is gonna like double the damage and double the resources, but only depending on certain things. So for example, depending on how much damage the tower has done so far, right? Only that amount of damage is gonna be doubled, and also the resources no more than 25% of the ones that have already mined. So the later you use this ability, the stronger it becomes, because like miners have mined more and the tower has done more damage, more maximum DPS. So you should have more maximum DPS overall. So like the later in the game you use this ability, I think the stronger it's going to become. But I just wanted to show you right here, because like from this description you cannot really see that much. And other than that, I think, yeah, this is something that I think is going to be very interesting. He says here that if enemies are allowed to walk over platforms, or if the path is blocked, they will prefer to move through modifiers, and only if there is no path through modifiers, they'll start to move through towers. So again, this, I'm thinking about custom maps. This is also something that we can use so that we can still have our towers that can attack, but then having enemies walking through modifiers. So in that way, our towers will not be disabled, forcefully disabled. And I think this is going to be something interesting to adopt as a mechanic. Then here there are a lot of changes to the visuals, like colors, things for colorblind people, I think as well. More particles and numbers, so the damage, different colors also for the damage, depending on which damage type you have. Boss HP bars, so you can know how much you have damaged to a particular boss. Music, and yeah, a ton of this stuff, again, that can make the game more easily accessible and more visually appealable. And yeah, I'm gonna just skip through all this part because I don't think there is much more to say here. And here we go. Finally, we got to the balance part. Now, again, I'm not gonna be covering the towers because there is a lot to say about towers. Each tower has been somehow changed, so I'm gonna do it in another video. I'm gonna just cover here the overall balance changes. So starting here with some enemies, you can see here the fast enemies, they're gonna have less HP and less amount of them. And the poison debuff is gonna slow them by 7%. And remember that this can stack, but yeah, this is the changes on the fast enemies. Also the icy enemies, now first all damage is gonna go to the shield. And remember, with the shield, the icy enemy is immune to like slow and to stun, I think, to freeze. And then once you destroy the shield, that's when the enemy is gonna just start getting the usual amount of damage. And again, the shield, you can see, has an immunity to anything other than bullets and fire. So like you do less damage to the icy enemies when they have the shield up. Strong enemies as well, less amount of them in later waves. And then here we come to some overall tower changes in terms of XP, in terms of global research. Now the cool thing is that now all towers are always going to start from level 1. So there is not anymore that research that is going to allow you to have the tower start from like level 3, level 4, level 5, right? Now it's always going to be level 1. And this research, so the experience, the start level of the tower has been replaced by a bonus power per level to level 10. And also the experience has been adjusted. So you can see that you need now more experience from level 1 to level 10 and less for level 11 to level 20 plus. Now towers can also be upgraded up to level 150 on endless research. So that's also very nice. And just going here, you can see rotation speed global. So the global one has been reduced by 25%. The bonus experience research has been reduced by 20%. The debuff now at least deals 15% of damage, even when stacked. So even when you have a ton of stacks, you're always gonna do at least 15% of the tower's damage. Some adjusting to the stages, to the levels. And these random enemies do not affect maximum DPS, right? And now this is also something very important. Powerful abilities give 15% instead of 10% power, and power calculation is now multiplicative. So it's not anymore additive, so it's just adding plus, but now it's times, it's multiply. And this makes now power a stat that it's much stronger than the other flat ones because of the fact that it's multiplicative, so you can really stack it a lot. And remember, power increases every stat other than range and the special stats. Some of the changes, and here again there is this kind of slight nerf to global damage, attack speed and other things. Instead, the per tower research has been buffed greatly. So now you can see that the overall tower efficiency has grown by 25%, around 25% on max research tree compared to the previous build, and now per tower research should feel more rewarding. So rather than spending resources on the global research that makes all the towers a little bit stronger, now it seems that it's better to focus on the specific tower or towers that you're going to be using and trying to max those out, because that is going to make them a lot more efficient than going for the global stuff, global research. And again, some adjustings to the difficulty of different enemy waves, and regulars shouldn't be that strong, and jets should be a little bit stronger, which is bad because jets already were pretty tough enemies, especially in late waves, because they're immune to freezing, they're flying, but at least, no, this is just the changes. And once again, adjust the difficulty from right at the beginning until level 6.1. And this last thing, that the piercing of explosions has been increased, so now it's a larger area. That means that they can affect more enemies, and this affects fireball ability, cannon, missile, mines, and airfall explosions, so the anti-air level 10. Yeah, this is it. Now, going through specifically abilities and modifiers, you can see on abilities, Blizzard now is going to cover 8 random roads with ice, which again is going to be this debuff that reduces this speed by 30%. Windstorm now also has more range, double bonus coins for the next wave. Magnet lasts longer, and now once again the projectiles fly towards the enemy and affect maximum DPS. So this was something that was removed on 1.8, now has been restated once again. I'm pretty sure that it's not going to really affect that much the gameplays, because most of your max DPS actually comes from Gauss, and Gauss really doing like billions of damage, or like increasing your max DPS by millions. It's not something that I think is going to be easily achievable with like using magnet and using like missile, a special missile, or using like cannon or splash, or maybe even multi-shot. I think this could be even used by multi-shot. But yeah, this is just something that has been done. So again, remember, you can only use one. You cannot use more than them. You cannot stack them. So just once. And then some changes to bullet wall. You can see that now, even when you don't hit the enemies, the projectiles will return back up to 3 times to do damage. And now this is also something super interesting. Now overload is gonna last permanently. It's not anymore timed. It doesn't have a timer. Now it lasts permanently until an enemy reaches the base. So until you lose 1 life, overload is gonna permanently increase the mining speed and increase the HP of enemies. It doesn't increase anymore the speed. It increases only the HP and the mining speed. And also now it scales with endless mode difficulty. So this is interesting. I think this might make overload to be super strong, especially once you have a lot of research, or when you use it, you know, knowing that you will not leak lives for a certain amount of time. I think, you know, you can maybe stall the game. You can make overload to last a lot more than what it lasted before. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see this. But if you screw up and even a single enemy reaches the base, you're gonna lose all the stacks. So before, you know, in the previous overload, even if you lost some lives, but still overload continued for the fixed amount of time that you still had. Now it doesn't work anymore like that. So I think this is gonna need, like, both is stronger in my opinion, but at the same time requires more specific and more careful research and mechanics on the game, so that you don't screw up, you don't like end up wasting overloads. So yeah, that's nice. Loop, as I said before, this is the new ability, and then Loic also boosts bounties, giving them 30% more coins next wave. And then lastly is the modifier. So this is the last thing we'll be covering in this video. Changes here to the balance modifier. Now it's gonna require less experience to level up. Each level is gonna give +1 max experience level to the neighboring towers. And again, this is a maximum +40% max XP levels. And remember, this is experience levels, so that means that your tower can reach like level 100 on max endless. Now it's 150. Now with this one, if you like can place 8 modifiers, balance modifiers around it, you can reach 190 level. So it's pretty interesting, right? Again, I'm pretty sure that you will not be able to place that many, or at least on a single tower, but even placing like 2 or 3 could be interesting, even though remember that you still have power you can place as modifiers, you still have damage, attack speed, so all those other very good modifiers. So yeah, I guess it depends on, like, if you're using a tower not really for the damage but for the passives or for the special stats, so having more experience levels is something very important. Or if you're just using it to have damage, maybe it might be better to have less experience levels but have like more power, right, or more output damage. And again here, selling a modifier will reduce max SP of the towers, but will not revert abilities. So you can use this one maybe to unlock level 20, even though, you know, the tower might not be able to reach level 20 by itself, and then you sell it, and you can still keep the abilities at level 20. So research giving more range. Power now, because it's multiplicative, now it has become much more powerful. Attack speed and damage modifiers have been nerfed a little bit. Just a little bit. And now this is something very sad. And again, I'm gonna just cover a little bit more in detail now. The base mining speed has been increased. You can see that the modifier is gonna give more base. But the modifiers now, when you apply them to the same miner, they become less effective. So the more miners, the more modifiers you place, the less effective they become. And you can check these on the table on the modifiers menu. And then lastly, experience modifier is going to give less experience per resource gained. So again, this is a pretty big nerf. Now I just want to show you the mining speed one, because I think it's worth mentioning that. Wait a second here, I'm gonna, yeah, I have endless, yeah, okay. So this is what happens. So imagine this is a mining speed, a minor, right? Scalar. This is speed. There are no modifiers, no bonuses. So the base speed becomes 16.6 resources done in mining per minute because of the fact that the density is only 50%. So it's half efficient, right? Now, if I place one single mining speed modifier, because I have the mining speed, the modifiers are maxed out, you can see that I'm giving plus 228% to the miners, and you can see it right here. See? But now check at this window right here. It says that the miner is connected to one mining speed modifier. So the more modifiers are connected to a miner, the less effective each of them becomes. And you here have the efficiency. You can see that one is going to be 100% efficient. If you place two, they only become 55% efficient. So that's like you drop incredibly if you just place two. And then if you place 3, 45% efficient. If you place 4, 40%. 5, 36. Up to 30% when you place 8. And yeah, this is a lot of debuffs, especially like from 1 to 2. It's insane. This is like 45% reduction in terms of efficiency. It's insane. But yeah, this is just how the game is now. And remember, this is max endless. So in normal, I think this is gonna be even worse. So for example, if I place another modifier right here, you can see that now the total efficiency, because I have placed 2, so each of them is only 54% efficient. So it's like, rather than giving this whole, if this represents 100%, I'm only giving 55% of this, plus 50% of this. So the total is 353%. And you can see that it's like reducing. So it's 100% from this one. Like this one is giving 228%. This one is giving only 55% of 228, right? So it's just, it's not like each one of them is 55% now. It's just the first one is still 100%. The second one is 55. And then if you raise 3, right, it becomes 45%, this third one. And yeah, you lose. So the more you place, the less percentage you gain, right? You're still gaining some, but it's less and less and less. So I guess because of these changes to how the modifier works, it might be best now to probably only place one modifier, trying to place at least one modifier for each resource type, like, I don't know, something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then depending on, like, if you have two miners close by or something like that, then you might want to place another one, but not really, like, you lose a lot of efficiency. So it might be better to just have one single miner for all the different resources, and then that's it. At maximum, I think 2, because 3 already is less than half efficiency. So it's like super bad. You're really losing a lot. But yeah, this is just the changes. And that's pretty much it, because with this I've covered all the most important things that I've seen on the patch notes. And then in the next video, I'm gonna cover the towers and the balances on that. So yeah, that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed. God bless you, and thanks for watching. See ya. Bye bye.